Amateur Radio Club over the 146.685 repeater, WM3PE in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Our newsline, the RRLTO News, and the rain report follow next right here.
Time for you to identify your station. We are the Amateur Radio Newsline, heard on bulletin stations around the world, including the WM3PEN repeater in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania on Wednesdays at 8 p.m. local time.
Amateur Radio Newsline report number 2239 with a release date of Friday, September 25th, 2020. To follow in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The following is a QST. Hera Arena is coming down. Disaster preparedness goes global, and a popular ham shack for visitors to Sweden is closing. All this and more as Amateur Radio Newsline report number 2239 comes your way right now.
From around the world, this is Newsline, Amateur Radio's independent on-the-air news and bulletin service. Now, reporting from Bloomington, Indiana, here's Neil Rapp, WB9 VPG.
We begin this week with the end of an era and the planned demolition of a Dayton, Ohio building that, since 1964, symbolized one of amateur radio's biggest international gatherings. Hera Arena, already deteriorating by the time it was left, damaged by tornadoes, in May of 2019 had been home to Dayton Hamvention until 2017, when it was moved to the Greene County Fairgrounds in nearby Xenia, Ohio. The arena property will also be rezoned to allow for manufacturing and distribution once the legendary building has been taken down. A global emergency preparedness initiative is underway and has put a call out to ham radio operators. They're being asked to assist with preparedness and safe response and educating the next generation. Christian Kudnick, K0STH, has that story.
The most effective disaster plans involve training tomorrow's MCOM operators. And according to Gregory Lee, KI6GIG, hams more than anyone can take an active role in this while helping communities respond to so-called geohazards. Greg says hams can educate the very youngest students, right up to those of college age, on the geography and hazards of their region. The basis of this education is his free downloadable article, Are You Living in a Potential Disaster Zone? Newsline has a link to the article in the printed version of this week's script at arnewsline.org. Hams should also become aware of whether their country is a signatory on the United Nations Sendai Framework for Disaster Risk Reduction and engage teachers in awareness of this formalized global response. Greg said that COVID-19 should not get in the way of this kind of training. He said the Amateur Radio Society of Bangladesh recently asked him to assist with development of a national MCOM network, and he was able to do the presentation to them in Dhaka from his QTH in Arizona. He told Newsline that in the schools, preparedness studies can complement class lessons as students learn how math, science, and other disciplines play into weather forecasting, radio science, and effective communication. He encourages interested hams to write him at GECORADIO@gmail.com. For Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm Christian Kudnick, K0STH.
Meanwhile, hams in Austria are preparing for a nationwide off-the-grid exercise to be held on October 3rd. The annual drill will begin, as always, with the sounding of the emergency sirens. Hams will be putting their emergency communications readiness to the test and will be joined by members of the military, public broadcasters, the Red Cross, and energy suppliers. Do you believe in superheroes? Well, the next big thing might just be a superhero among batteries. At least that's what scientists are hoping. Ed Durant, DB5LP, has that story.
The German Research University is working with an ultracapacitor specialist in Estonia to develop what scientists are calling a groundbreaking graphene battery. They're calling it the super battery. While it is not energy dense enough to be a replacement for lithium-ion
charging cycles. The rapid charging time is being attributed to the battery's use of Skeleton's patented curved graphene carbon material. For Amateur Radio Newsline, this is Ed Durant, DD5LP.
We all take pride in who we are as amateur radio operators. Now a new club is forming as a virtual collective, hoping to provide a welcoming spirit to amateurs who are also part of the world's LGBTQI community. Robert Broomhead, VK3DN, has that story.
The Pride Radio Group launched itself on the 13th of September, and within the first week alone, it had become a group of 50. A virtual community organised by Michael Wheeler, VK3FUR, the group encourages discussion on SDR, antenna design and HF operating, much of it on the Discord app for now, and it promises what Michael calls a safe and friendly environment. Michael said the group's origins are rooted in the hope to provide representation for radio amateurs in the LGBTQI community in Australia and the Oceania region, and that it just grew from there. Whilst the group awaits its Australian call sign to be granted, plans are in the works for a future with special event activations, DMR talk groups, and a Pride-focused contest likely for June 2021. Michael said other ham clubs have already reached out asking how their organisations can become more inclusive and welcoming. Michael told Newsline, quote, "I've had a number of people personally reach out to me to tell me that a group like this might just be the sort of thing they need to get back on the air," end quote. For more details about this emerging group, visit the website prideradio.group. For Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm Robert Broomhead, VK3DN.
In the UK, the Get On the Air to Care campaign has accelerated since the Radio Society of Great Britain and the NHS teamed up to highlight ham radio as an antidote to the melees of pandemic lockdown. In fact, national media such as the BBC and the newspaper have shared such stories as this next one, as Jeremy Boot, G4NJH, explains.
Caitlin Field, M6XTT, is the third generation ham in her family and its first YL. She joins grandfather Don, G3XTT, and father Ed, 2E0WWF, with her fascination with radio and science. When lockdown happened, Caitlin made the most of her time by studying the foundation course provided online by Essex Ham. Using Zoom, Don supplemented his granddaughter's studies with regular tutoring sessions and proclaimed her an eager student. It also gave the two some quality grandpa and granddaughter time, which they both thoroughly enjoyed during an otherwise very isolating lockdown. On her third try, Caitlin passed the exam under remote invigilation by RSGB President and Exam Quality Manager Dave Wilson, M0OBW. Soon the 10-year-old was holder of her father's old foundation call sign. Getting on the air to care, or caring enough to help someone new get on the air in the first place, is the essence of this joint campaign with the Health Service, according to Steve Thomas, M1ACB, and the RSGB's General Manager. Now it seems that mainstream media also cares, and cares enough to put amateur radio stories like this on the air. For Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm Jeremy Boot, G4NJH.
We also mentioned that the RSGB has begun making remote invigilation available for applicants for the full license. On Thursday, September 24th, the Society began accepting exam bookings for all three levels of license. Exams are now being booked for Wednesday, October 21st and beyond. A popular ham station for guest operators in Sweden has become another casualty of the global pandemic. Graham Kemp, VK4BB, has those details.
There's little more than 2 months to go before SA9AM, the visitors' amateur radio station in Udenid, Sweden, closes its doors permanently. It was established 20 years ago and is owned by 8 radio clubs in Sweden's third call area. There have been no guest operators, however, since the COVID-19 pandemic, and its board has opted to cease operations on the 1st of December. Since the visitor station opened on July 19, 2000, it has logged about 160,000 QSOs. The station is known as the King Chulu Longkorn Memorial Amateur Radio Visitor Station and is located near the Thai Pavilion that opened in 1998 to honour the Thai King's visit to the Swedish town in 1897. SI9AM President Jorgen SM3FJF made the announcement, adding that all QSL cards and SI9AM awards will still be sent for confirmed radio contacts. Feeling like I'm on the set of The King and I, Parameter Radio Newsline, I'm Graham Kemp, VK4BB.
Time for you to identify your station. We are the Amateur Radio Newsline, heard on bulletin stations around the world, including the K4LYL repeater in Bedford, Virginia, on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 10 a.m. and 10 p.m. local time.
Kilo 3 Charlie Juliet, WM3PEN Philadelphia. Looking for further check-ins to the net. K3CJ.
This is Mike Prickett 113. Messing the camera up there. Just wanted you to hear a rebroadcast, I should say, from September 25th of some amateur news. So this happens every once in a while. Somebody rebroadcasts it, and you know, you get some information of ham radio around the world via your radio. So anyway, I hope everybody's doing all right and having a good one. And this is Mike Prickett 113. I hope you enjoy it.